Hello and welcome to another edition of Parsons Progress. I've just got back from Craven Arms. You remember yesterday I just asked the car wouldn't start. Anyway, I recharged the battery. Not a biggie. It was what unravelled, and unravelled it did. But instead I had a jolly, peaceful day yesterday. Enjoyed making the video. But today I was a bit more active. Got up early, did my morning meditation, and I'll speak about that later on when I'm a bit more settled. I've got a few little jobs to do now, principally just to water a couple of tomato plants, and I bought compost today too, and did a big shop in Craven Arms, so it's all worked out rather well. I need a shave, yes I know. Sometimes you just sort of forget in this timeless zone on the mountain things like shaving, because I don't go out into civilization very often. Anyway, I will speak to you in a mo. Well, there's me compost. Very good value, isn't it? £4.50 for a huge, great sack. I bought 2 of them. And they're going to go in here, of course. Well, into terracotta pots. My mini greenhouse. Do you remember it blew down? And somebody said, why don't you put a slab underneath the bottom? Well, I've got these huge, bloody great logs. Might wonder what the bananas are doing in there. And I'll tell you what they're doing in there. Trouble with bananas these days is they're all green and you can't eat them. They're hard and bitter and not very nice. Anyway, through that plastic, you might be able to see something growing. I'm hoping it's my tobacco harvest, but I doubt very much it is. It's probably the lettuce. But anyway, tobacco has gone in, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Come and have a look at me. I bought the last 2 remaining. I would have bought more, but looking a bit sorry, aren't they? I'm going to wet them. I bought the last 2 remaining tomato plants. But, it is what it is. And I bought this sprayer thing rather cheaply. I've got a beautiful brass one, but, well, it's in the container. That's the problem. When you move your whole life, everything is in the container. But I'm going to give these a squirt. Been looking forward to doing this, actually. Look at that. How satisfying is that? The zen of squirting. With that, I will see you shortly. Hello again. Well, I'm finally seated. It's always a thing, isn't it, when you go out, you've got to get back in. You've got to get your shopping out of the car. You've got to put your shopping away. Well, I've put my shopping away. I was rather naughty, actually. I bought some Magnum ice creams. And before switching this camera on, I had one. Totally unrepentantly. Anyway, I rather enjoyed it. Well, I'm going to enjoy something else now. You've seen that I've got me compost, it's just there. And my seeds are starting to germinate and flower. 2 little tomato plants. But, everything starts small, doesn't it? I'll get more. That's enough to be getting on with. And so, yeah, I did my shopping. There are 2 equidistant towns, if you can call them that. I suppose they are, from where I am. One is Bishop's Castle, and the other is Craven Arms, and they're totally different characters. Bishop's Castle is very pretty. I think they get tourists, but there never seems to be anybody there, and the shops are always shut and open at odd times. It's the most extraordinary. It's like the market town that time forgot. It is, but I have to say, everyone is very friendly, as indeed they are in the other little town that I've just been to, Craven Arms. Craven Arms is a bit more lacklustre. Not much to report from there, really. It's a bit down at heel in some respects, but the people are absolutely charming there and friendly. Reminds me of the sort of parishes I was in charge of. Well, when I was a curate, not in charge of, but pastorally kind of responsible, I suppose. But the great thing about Craven is you can get anything you want. You really can. even a reasonable drop of Merlot. I can't remember the name of it though. It may come to me. I'm getting a lot of it's almost Grenache, but it can't be because it's a Merlot variety. But it's got that lovely vanilla and acidic taste that I like in a red wine. Now, so anyway, I went to Craven Arms, and you know, the sun's glorious. I mean, God is really blessing me. Well, blessing all of us. Blessing the farmers. They had an awful wet winter, didn't they? Was it a winter or last year? I think, was it last year where it just rained all year? And the poor beasts out there in the cold and wet through, and sodden mud and grass, and nothing draining off. But but the great thing is they've got a supermarket anyway, in Craven, called Tuffins, and it's marvellous. Get anything you want there, and I did. I stocked up my pantry, and but it's great for agricultural items too. Not Tuffins, but you know, Craven Arms. You can get anything there. There's even a hardware store where you can buy ducks, not dead ones, living ones. It is the Mecca. It is the Mecca of Shropshire. But as I say, there's nothing of any architectural interest, and a bit down at heel. There's probably a lot of unemployment and social deprivation. Remarkable place, though. I love it. Absolutely prefer it, really, to Bishop's Castle. Bishop's Castle is far more manicured and pretty. People are a bit odd there. I think it was a sort of mecca for drug-taking hippies in the 60s and 70s, and they're all still there, but the difference is now they're all on Zimmer frames, which probably is the reason why most of the shops are shut, because they're either stoned or too decrepit to get to their businesses. Who knows? Who am I to judge? As Pope Francis would say. Anyway, this Merlot is going down rather well. Nice to pop in to see you all for a chat. Always lovely at the end of the day, isn't it? But I really wanted to talk about the beginning of the day rather than the end of the day. And while I'm doing so, I'm going to delight in smoking the most ornate of my meerschaums. And it was quite funny, actually. I was watching Richard Vobes a week or so ago, and he was talking about this book that he's reading, and I think it was called the Dunhill Pipe Book, and on the cover was this blessed thing, and I'm going to put a picture into the video so you can see. Absolutely the same pipe. How about that? I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not the same pipe literally, but isn't that extraordinary to find yourself on the front cover of a... If you do that, sometimes they say to do that, don't they, to get into focus. I have no idea how you get things into focus. But look at the lovely colouring on that. Anyway, I'm going to smoke him now. And I'm going to continue with the Maduro. Because that's quite pleasant. Not sure I'll get it again, don't know. I don't really like any tobaccos with toppings, not bold toppings. Having said that, it's not that bold. But, I don't know. I have it occasionally. But it's always lovely to get back, as I say, this time of the day. But it's just the other end of the day I wish to speak about principally. Because some of you have mentioned that, you know, I get up early and do my prayers and meditate, a sort of contemplative prayer, sat on the floor, cross-legged, gazing out, or sometimes not, sometimes closing my eyes. And there is no doubt about it that it kind of leads on, in a way, from what I was saying the other day about doing what's in front of you. But what I tend to do is it's the first thing I do. I like take a sip of water, do one's ablutions, and then get on with it. First thing, you know. So you don't have to think about it. I just fall out of bed and I'm onto my prayer mat, and that's that. Don't think about it, just do it. And I've got a timer. I've got a lovely timer. So I don't have to think about when I'm starting, finishing, all of this. And it is sometimes known in circles, certain prayerful circles, as the golden hour, that period when you just literally get up, literally. And timings for prayer are an odd thing, aren't they? Because some time is no time, is it? When you say, oh, I will do such and such at such and such, it never gets done. You know, some time is no time, never happens. I'll pray matins at some time today, or I'll pray vespers, compline, whatever. Often never happens, because there's no set time. I mean, I suppose one good thing about being in a monastic house is that there are set times, or in a parish church. Some parish churches is drying out a bit now, and so that's good. I found as an individual priest, I was often missing prayers because I had no darn schedule really, and I should have done. And oh well, there we go. You live and you learn. But what I've now discovered is that I don't have any problem at all at just praying the minute I get out of bed. Come straight out onto the veranda, straight onto the floor, and onto my prayer cushion and prayer mat, and I'm good to go. I've got my timer set up, and it's called the golden hour. So I would recommend that to anybody. You might remember one of my videos if I was talking about people who say I'm too busy to pray or meditate or do whatever, and I said, well, get up 15 minutes earlier. And there's a reason why I said that. Not because there's not value in it, you know, in its own sense from prayer or meditation, but the thing I want to share with you today is that by praying in the magic hour, the golden hour, what of course happens is that you set the day up. The die is cast. If you just sort of get up and react to everything, and I know it's impossible for some people, kids and getting off to work and the cart won't start, or I don't know, you're putting cereal under the noses of your children and trying to get them off to school, and I don't know, maybe somebody's still in bed and you've got to get them up and out to school, and I mean, I know all of that, and I know people have to get to work and they're late for work or they're late for the train. That's why I say get up 15 minutes earlier when the house is quiet before anybody else. There is a way to do it. Now you may say, well, it'll be quieter later on when I get them all to school and I do that and I do that, I can do this and do the other, and then I can come home and I can breathe, and that may be true. And that might work for you. There are no rules, aren't there, really, when it comes to prayer? How can a relationship with God and creation have rules? I don't like rules, really. But I know that some are helpful. I don't like them. Never have. I'm a bit of a maverick, or so I was told. In the army, they used to say I was a maverick. And it's amazing I actually lasted to pension point. But I opted out at the 16-year point, which was the soonest I could get a pension and leg it. It's much more shaded here. You're probably not getting as much wind. And I said that and the wind started. So anyway, continuing with this idea of mine, well, it's not mine, I'm sure other people say it too, about getting up earlier and praying during the golden hour. I thoroughly recommend it to you all. Works for me. Because the die is cast then for the day. By having that half an hour or so, depending on how long you can pray for, without being bored witless, or your legs falling off, it will commute the harmony of that period into the rest of the day. I find I'm a lot calmer after my morning prayer. And then I do my household chores, wash up and do everything I have to do, get a bit of breakfast on maybe. Make a pot of Hong Pa, green tea. Tidy up the caravan. Making your bed's important. That sets the tone for the day as well, but don't do it until after your meditation. But make your bed, make it all nice and tidy. And then the die is cast for the rest of the day. You won't go off at half cock like a Tasmanian devil chewing a wasp. That's my recommendation. Because otherwise, sometimes I find if I don't have that period, I can be reactive to stimuli, overreactive. Nervous energy with nowhere to go. Jittery. And can be offhand sometimes, which I don't like being. Feel bad afterwards. I don't think I'm that bad really, but that's been known. So let me know what you think about the best time to pray and your experiences. I get lots of lovely comments. I read every single one. But then every YouTuber says that, don't they? And I reply to about 2/3 of them, and there's always a third to go, and then I catch up with them, and then there's always more to reply to. But I will eventually get through to most people. So peaceful today. It's been a lovely day. This weekend has been lovely. My gorgeous cottage, stone cottage behind me, hugged by the mountain. It reflects gloriously the sun as it sets over there. I ought to really take a picture of the setting sun for you sometime. Lately it goes absolutely bright red. It is like being in Japan. And I have nothing in the way of my sunsets. I just get the perfect sunset going down. It's like being by an ocean. It's wonderful. And so I'm truly blessed. And I'm feeling it today, so I've been giving thanks to the Lord. I don't know what else to talk about, really. I just thought I'd follow up that business I was talking about yesterday and continue with what my daily routine looks like. And that's exactly what it looks like. Well, certainly in the morning. And I'm finding it's working. A bit like this pipe. Working perfectly. Lovely smoking pipe. A Maduro is a nice tobacco, really, with that cherry sort of topping. But certainly a lot better than that Kendall's black cherry. I shan't be getting that again. That really is hopeless. Well, I'm sure so, but it is each to their own, isn't it? I watch tobacco adverts and not adverts. What do they call them? Videos. And they recommend this and they recommend that and they recommend the other. So you buy your University Flake and you buy your Spitfire and you buy, and you come to your own conclusions. What I don't like, I haven't tried Dunhill early morning pipe. Maybe somebody could chime in about it. But I've tried the so-called milder English blends. I think Spitfire's one. University Flake is one. There's a number of them, and they don't hit any boxes because they are so mild as English as not to feel the Englishness of them. So whilst you've got your Virginias and your Latakias and everything going on, they're almost so far in the background as not to be noticeable at all. And then you have your other ones like Royal Yacht and Peterson's Nightcap, and they knock your socks off. So I don't bother getting those either, really. That's too much nicotine. But some people love them, and I've enjoyed them. It takes some getting used to. So that's about it for today. Not a lot to talk about. No funny stories. It's just a beautiful day in paradise. So, hope you're all well. I'll talk to you tomorrow, God willing. I'm going to continue with my Merlot. A lovely pipe. And enjoy the rest of this glorious evening. Take care, and see you on the next video.